noise, nothing was heard by anybody. This is a hospital where even if a patient screams loudly, there are some nurses or ward boys or security come running. And this woman would have screamed and shouted. So when you look at all these things, it just goes to show that a lot of people planned, almost 85% of rapes are committed by people known to the victim survivors. That makes it even more difficult for them to come out and report.
Yes.
Can I report about my father, my uncle? Can I report about my nephew, my cousin? The whole family is there against me. Nobody is supporting me. Sexual assault and rape has never been about lust and attraction. Never. What the movies portray are lies. It is always about power. I will tell you, I will show you who's more powerful. And the best way that I think I must do this to you is to invade your bodily privacy. You cannot retaliate back. This revealing and all of those things are mess. What is the industry doing? Commodifying and objectifying women, which today has got normalized. So a 7-year-old, 6-year-old child also says, hey, she's sexy. And it is very difficult to listen to a small child calling an adult woman like that. But the conversation now goes somewhere else. This small child is talking the same language to his or her classmate. Hey, the uniform doesn't look sexy on you. Why have you got such a long skirt? Make it a little short. Then you will look sexy. So this talk of sex so loosely goes one step beyond to, so I don't have to respect you as a woman, as a girl. I don't have to respect. I don't respect your body. And as a girl, I'm constantly being told, cover yourself, protect yourself, save yourself, don't provoke, don't show off. So that is the whole mindset that is coming today. So we have to begin with our homes. We have to start talking about it because today children are very smart and intelligent. They understand a lot. We have not told them that when somebody touches you inappropriately, you don't like it, say so. Loudly say so. And some children are very precautious. They will say. So it is important that all of us take up this responsibility. There is an African saying that it takes an entire village to bring up a child. And Indian culture and history is not very different. Earlier, it was an entire neighborhood who were all worried and bothered about everybody's children. Today, we've lost that touch. We need to bring that touch back. I cannot be a science teacher who teaches science and goes away.
Hello everyone, welcome back to PM and Pathlok. Today I'm incredibly honored to share with you a conversation I had with Brinda Adige, a fearless women's rights activist who has been a powerful voice against sexual violence in India for so many years. In this interview, Brinda and I deep dive into some of the most critical issues facing our society today. We start by discussing the recent Kolkata Rape case, where Brinda shared her thoughts on the government's response and the urgent need for better protection and support for victims. We also explore the concerning rise in children's access to pornography and how this exposure can shape dangerous behaviors. Brinda offers her perspective on the shocking reality of sexual violence committed by family members, an issue that's often hidden but desperately needs more attention and action. Throughout our conversation, we talk about the influence of the internet in spreading harmful mindsets and the unique challenges faced in rural areas, where rape cases frequently go unreported. Brinda provides powerful insight into the psyche of the perpetrators, helping us understand the deeper reasons behind these crimes and what needs to change. I found this discussion to be incredibly eye opening, and I'm sure you will too. I'm sure you are aware about the incident that happened in Kolkata. I just want to know what are your insights on this case.
The case at Calcutta is not only gruesome and brutal, but absolutely barbaric. And whatever information that we are getting today, we know that even now the real culprits are not caught, or at least not all of the culprits. Because again, you see what has happened to that girl, that doctor. Brutalized. Her body was mangled, brutalized. And if we go into the gory details, both her legs at right angles, one person could not have done it. Impossible. Because as human beings, we constantly fight with the last bit of strength that we have. That woman would have fought and fought. So it could not be possible for all that has happened to her by one person. We are talking about the physical state of her body. Now, going into the rape part of it, the autopsy and the analysis, forensic evidence points out that there were about 150 grams of semen. Now we know humanly impossible for one person to produce 150 grams of semen. Max, the so-called stud, can produce only 15 grams. That is science. This is not some story made up, which
Hmm.
means 15, 150 divide, and you know that there were 10 people. So we already know that there were 10. So where are the other 9? Because they're talking about the Sanjay guy, which is one man. Where is the other 9? Then you want to look at the setup itself. The hospital not having extended any safety and security. Purposely CCTV cameras destroyed. No, it is not today's story. Female doctors don't have a designated rest space, which is safe, which is closer to the wards, probably closer to the medical units. She had to go to a seminar hall, which means people who did this to her know the routine. Every female doctor, during after they finish, after she or he finish, she finishes her rounds, will go there and rest for a while, saying, "Acha, everything is in order." Unless there might be an emergency for which they might have some other method. They may have a pager or maybe a mobile phone, or probably a bell rings loudly to say there is an emergency, which they can hear and she will come out. So this is a planned one. They also say that she had some dinner with some of her other student friends. After dinner, they went away. Now, what have they got to say? Because all what happened in the wee hours of morning, between 1:30, 2 p.m. to about 4:30 or so. How can it be possible that in a place like a hospital, for nearly 2.5 hours, no sound, no noise, nothing was heard by anybody? This is a hospital where even if a patient screams loudly, there are some nurses or ward boys or security come running. And this woman would have screamed and shouted. So when you look at all these things, it just goes to show that a lot of people planned, connived, put a lot of things in order to execute this rape and torture on this woman. After that, like you pointed out, parents were lied to. She's unwell. You cannot see her for 3 hours because they were setting right. They were doing the drama, covering it up. Police don't register an FIR. You know, police have been called, you have come, your job is to register that FIR there. Today in technology, digital India, you can do online registration. So everybody's carrying a mobile. You have access to internet on your mobile, which means the police who have special mobiles probably with special apps could have registered that FIR immediately. No, they wait because now they are also planning and plotting what must go into that FIR. Right after that, within 2 days, the body is cremated. The parents say the police insisted that the cremation must happen. Now, parents and middle class families, how much information will they have? What guidance, what advice will they be given? How did they know they must go to a lawyer? They must find out all these things. They are in grief. They are grieving the death of their daughter in such a brutal manner. The
Right.
police should have been the ones to protect that body, which they did not do. So state is compliant, which was, the state did not follow compliance.
A old man around 70 year, he tried to rape a 4-year-old child, girl child. And there are many cases happen in history, the Delhi case, the Maharashtra case, and many. We need to educate our boys, our child, we need to change our patriotical mindset. So according to you, how we can, implement those changes? What additional changes you think we should introduce?
First, we need to understand we are a largely, deeply patriarchal society. Patriarchal communities, families. In families, also, we are very patriarchal. But also, our state systems are patriarchal. Whether you take the police, you take the prosecution, or you take the judiciary, very deeply patriarchal. And because they are so patriarchal, crimes against women, especially sexual crimes, are not taken seriously by them. One. The other side is this very wrong notion of sanskari. I must not do any kind of sex education with my children. Now, what is sex education? Sex education is beginning with respect and love for my body. But we never talk about our body. We don't tell our children who are 3 4 years old, because today children are very smart and intelligent, they understand a lot. We have not told them that when somebody touches you inappropriately, you don't like it, say so, loudly say so. And some children are very precautious. They will say, I don't like that auntie touching me. I don't like that uncle touching me. But because of our patriarchal mindset, we say, that is an auntie only, no. It's an uncle only, no. So what? They won't do anything wrong or bad to you. Here, the question is not wrong or bad. It is my feeling. At the end of the day, how do I feel? I don't feel good when somebody touches me, even if they do something like this. But there are some other friends who will put their entire arm around our shoulder and we don't feel anything. We feel good about it. So the intention is only felt by the person on whom it is inflicted. That is why prevention must begin from my home. I must not be shy or scared or feel otherwise to talk to my children and my family members about good touch and bad touch and respecting the other person, no matter how old or how young. We must not tell that doing like this is okay to the child. After all, touch the cheek. No, no. The child doesn't like it. Leave it. There are some children who don't mind doing this for fraction of a second, but there are other children who don't want it. So I must learn to respect and my child must learn to speak. So my family begins with those sessions, lessons, and actions of respect. Because in my family, if that action of respect is not there, then my child doesn't learn what is this respect. Then my language of respect. Because if my child doesn't learn that in my home, that's a problem. We know today that social media onslaught, I will use the word onslaught because you take any form of social media, there is aggression, there is violence, and there is foul language. Even the smallest or the so-called most innocent TV serial or movie. And this foul language is just laughed off by people. No,
Right.
foul language is foul language. Bad behavior is bad behavior. Acknowledge it. Don't simply watch it with your family, because many times when we are watching a regional film, we know that there are many films, every film has an item number. And what we would do is we'll fast forward it without
Hmm.
explaining to our children why I don't want to sit and watch that with them.
Hmm.
I explained. I said, see, I don't like the kind of actions that they are portraying over there. It does not look like graceful dance to me. It looks like more personal things that happen between two people who love each other. So I use those kind of words that they must do in private. So I want to skip this song. It's not so great. And they'll say, okay, Amma. Now, today they have learned not even to look at those songs. What is the industry doing? Commodifying and objectifying women, which today has got normalized. So a 7-year-old, 6-year-old child also says, hey, she's sexy. And it is very difficult to listen to a small child calling a adult woman like that. But that conversation now goes somewhere else. This small child is talking the same language to his or her classmate. Hey, the uniform doesn't look sexy on you. Why have you got such a long skirt? Make it little short. Then you will look sexy. So this talk of sex so loosely goes one step beyond to, so I don't have to respect you as a woman, as a girl. I don't have to respect. I don't respect your body. And as a girl, I'm constantly being told, cover yourself, protect yourself, save yourself, don't provoke, don't show off. So that is the whole mindset that is coming today. So we have to begin with our homes. We have to start talking about it in our schools. We don't have to feel shy about it, because you and I can't be there all the time to protect them. So they must
Right.
learn how to protect themselves. The best way is for them to understand what is right and wrong, good touch and bad touch. And if something is happening, to shout out loudly. Our children are not taught to shout. We are, as a perpetrator, the perpetrator will always say, be quiet, okay? Only bad people will shout. I don't want to be bad, so I will keep quiet. Otherwise, those two children in that school in Kolkata would not have been subjected to that sexual abuse and assault and rape by the school person, whoever it was who was there. Because the children were quiet. They've been always told, be quiet, don't talk. If the child had shouted, somebody may have heard. But the child did not shout, because we have taught that. We have conditioned children and women to keep quiet. The other bit is for my government to take steps how to block pornography freely available. Pornography, like drugs, the industries that want to promote it, first promote it free of cost, 10 seconds. So if somebody goes on to that pornographic site, the first 10, 15 seconds is free. Then it comes, do you want to watch more? Pay 10 rupees. The child runs to mother and says, I want to take 10 rupees from your GPay. Mother says, okay, fine. Because we don't know what they are watching. And 10 rupees is nothing. From there it begins. And that is how that aggressive pornography is available. What is wrong for my government to stop that? Yes, I agree. It is curtailing free speech and my right to access what I want. But children are accessing. How do we stop it? There is no way. There is my IT law does not allow me to block it in any which way. If there is no app or any kind of I don't know the right word to use over there, where people can find out that children are accessing this. So China has blocked it. Their children cannot access it anywhere. Their own phones and school and college computers. Today they are accessing, children are accessing all of it. And my government is doing nothing about it. So we cannot absolve the government. They have a responsibility. You put in the experts, you put in all the people there, so that people's rights and privacy and whatever it is allowed. You don't curtail and curb uh, websites that people might want to access, but you want to curb children accessing it. You find the ways and means. I am not the expert, but I'm asking, if some country can curb it, what is wrong? What stops our country from putting those same monitoring curbs over there? So that is my whole challenge, that the government can't say we are a big country. We are as big a country as China. We are almost the same population. So when we compare ourselves, there are many things which are common. So my country, my state has a responsibility to ensure that children and young people, when I say young people till the age of 18, do not have access to such aggression and violence. Because at the end of the day, it boils down to that aggression, sexual aggression, physical aggression, verbal aggression, and violence. It must stop. They must be able to put a stop to it. One. Two, there are children. Today, we know many of our observation homes. Under the Juvenile Justice Act, you have the observation homes where children in conflict with law are housed. Nothing different for those children. They just stay there till for some time, a case is sorted out, and then they are out again. No counseling, no additional input for them to grow mentally, psychologically, or with their person. That when they come out as better, stronger people. They come out more violent. So, what is my government doing in those homes? Today, we are seeing there are more adolescents who are sexually abusing and raping younger children, 3, 4, 7 years old. Yes, there are the 75, 76-year-old also. But we are also looking at this classmates abusing, raping, assaulting younger children. So we need to find spaces and get experts and people to work together. We are not working from a victim centric space. We are only addressing a crime after it happens. We want to prevent it. So prevention means all of these things. Very nice that we must study science, math, social studies, English, Kannada, French. Yes. Let us also study how I should be as a human being. It should be taught in my school. We have 6 hours children spending over there. Half an hour, twice a week should be possible.
When you interview any rapist, they never have a regret feeling. They always say that, okay, she deserved this thing. And there's one statement which is very common for them, is that she has weared such kind of clothes. She has, wear some revealing clothes that provokes me. What are your opinions on that?
Okay. One, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape has never been about lust and attraction. Never. What the movies portray are lies. It is always about power. I will tell you, I will show you who's more powerful. And the best way that I think I must do this to you is to invade your bodily privacy. You cannot retaliate back. This revealing and all of those things are messaging from my films and whatever. Now we must understand the revealing clothes might make you feel something about somebody being attractive or somebody being sexy or somebody being whatever. It is your mind where you say that, I want her. I can take her. No problem. I won't be punished. Nobody will say anything to me. She will be the one. I will tell her she was wearing revealing clothes. I will not even wear clothes. Nobody said you can touch me. So that is the patriarchy that is coming through these messaging. And that is why it is important. Now you look at films abroad, or you look at other films from some of the other Oriental countries. They don't portray women like that. They don't portray as women being available because of wearing skimpy clothes. So what is this industry that is propelling this kind of commodification? Who is earning? Who's profiteering from this? And that is what we need to put a curb on. What is my film censor board doing? How did my film censor board agree that using this kind of violent language? Now, I'd like to take an example of the movie Animal. Is okay?
Yes.
No, it's not okay. How dare the censor board allow that? Aggression, violence, both speech, actions, as well as sexual assault. And that film is the classic example to say no remorse. Not one iota of remorse on that protagonist who showed this. Everybody was okay with it, even in the film. Somewhere it is saying you can do all this for the sake of your family to get justice. Why do we need laws? Then you just have films like Animal. Let everybody do all these kind of things. Give everybody a gun. Give everybody one knife and one axe. Why do I need a government? I don't need it. Each of us can have thugs. So you see, somewhere there is a promotion. And when a rapist says that she asked for it, how did she ask for it? Did she verbally say, I want to be raped? Your petty mind decided that, which means you cannot think beyond. That is all is your intelligence. That entitled arrogance. I'm a man. I can take what I want when I want, how I want. And that is the messaging we must challenge continuously. Continuously, we must challenge. Don't tell me what to wear, what to cover. You learn to respect me just how I am. Will you say that in Arab countries or even here, women who are fully clothed, women wearing full burqa are not raped? They are also raped. So it is
Yes.
nothing to do with clothes. If we are talking about clothes, why will a 6-month-old baby be raped? What clothes was that baby wearing? Why a 4-year-old child? What dress was that uniform that she was wearing going to school? Was that a revealing uniform? So this is an excuse by rapists because these rapists do not want to accept that they behaved in a manner where they need to be stringently punished. It's a patriarchal mindset. And that mindset largely also gets promoted by our various religions, because most religions are patriarchal, where they tell the woman, be like this, do like that, don't do like that, listen to the man, without any responsibilities for the man. So I absolutely believe that all rapists and people who are indulging in sexual abuse and sexual assault, criminals, must be stringently punished. I, of late, I don't agree on capital punishment because the state selectively gives capital punishment. The
Yes.
poor and those who cannot speak up for themselves, those in minority, those who are down the social and the economic ladder will get capital punishment or encounters by police. People like Asaram and Ram Rahim and Brij Bhushan Singh will continue their own things. So right
Hmm.
now, I am advocating stringent, swift, effective punishment. That is
Okay.
what punishment is all about. Once I get it, I won't do it again. I will be scared to do that again.
What are the some of the biggest challenges a survivor of rape face in India, and what support system are crucial for the recovery and pursuit of justice?
There are two things that we need to keep in mind here. Almost 85% of rapes are committed by people known to the victim survivors. That makes it even more difficult for them to come out and report.
Yes.
Can I report about my father, my uncle? Can I report about my nephew, my cousin? The whole family is there against me. Nobody is supporting me. They will all console and say, you're going through this, you're going through that. We understand. But you see, family prestige is very important. Family respect is very important. That is the big number of victims and survivors. For them, we still do not have any support system. No support system. We do not have counselors that you can go and talk to. We do not have groups that we can go and talk to. Some groups are functioning under some non-governmental organizations, but everybody cannot access it. Like you mentioned in the beginning of our interview, especially people from the villages and rural areas cannot access such support. Much of the support is in the city.
Yes.
And even in the city, people living in the slums and in the suburbs cannot access it. It is some elite groups will have it in some one or two places. For all of us to be able to access this support, it should be there within the community at the ward level. One, because they don't want to register cases. And by the time that the person wants to register a case, the person always weighs the pros and cons. I want my family. Everything said and done, I want to be in the protection of my family. In my family, I know there are 3 people who love me no matter who I am. So if I go make a complaint, maybe they'll tell me to go out of the house. Where will I go? Even if I'm a working woman, I might go to a PG. What support do I have? There I have no support. I don't know anybody. I have no friends. I still have to make friends. And after what has happened to me, I really don't want to make friends. I'm happy sitting in this shell. But after time I am now suffering mental illness. So that support is very important now for the large number of victims and survivors who have gone through or going through something like this. The other 15%, like the Kolkata case and the thing that have happened in that West Bengal school, registration of FIR immediately. The institutional support and responsibility for safety and security. We cannot tell the children, why did you go with him? Why did you go with her? We cannot tell the doctor who went to rest in that seminar room, why did you go and rest? She can't now lie down on the corridor. She cannot sit in the corridor. She went to a place where she thought it was free, it was safe. So the institution has the responsibility to extend that safety. All safety measures. There should be a separate room for doctors' rest. That room must be under security. Nobody goes in over there without the permission of the doctors or the person who is inside. There has to be CCTV cameras. Digital India, we should not have a problem with that. The management must be reviewing all of this once in 90 days. There should be a body that is above the management, like an ombudsman, where nobody is scared to report. In this particular hospital, people were scared to report because there were very powerful people in the management with very powerful connections, and the student doctors could not report. The ones who reported, A, threatened, belittled and humiliated, or their exam papers and credits withheld. Now everybody would say, let me just finish this and go. So there must be an ombudsman above the hospital management to who one can go and report without fear. And that ombudsman must be able to also extend further protection to the person who's coming and reporting. After that, we come back to the police. They have to be charged to conduct a watertight investigation, collecting all the evidence and presenting it before the court within the next 20 days. It's not difficult. It can be done. We are not so badly trained. Our police are good. They have been trained well. They have the best of forensic and technology at their fingertips. But they must be given that authority and held responsible for it. Political interventions nexus always will break and shatter all the evidence that is coming there. Once it comes in court, the prosecutor and the police must be in consultation with each other how to present that case in court. We cannot say, prosecutor, do a job alone. I know for sure because we go to courts with a lot of cases, and I know that there are many prosecutors who do not do a good job. There is official complicity, there is corruption. And I am not afraid to say this because there I am on the field. And we have to use all kinds of methods, all kinds of connections to ensure that the case doesn't fall through in the first, second, or third hearing. Then we come to the judges to dispense, to give the justice within that fast track time. That is a law that has been put down. Judges cannot tell, I have got other cases to do. Judges cannot ask insensitive questions. Like we saw the judge in Rajasthan recently saying, take off your clothes, I want to see where you have got hurt. Inside the court, a judge is asking something like this. And then at another time, we are telling all of you learn self-defense so that you can ward off the rapist. So this lady standing before the judge, because she knows self-defense, should have walked up to him sitting there and given him a punch because he asked her to take off her clothes in court so he can see where she has been harmed and what are the bruises that she has got. So judges must be held accountable to ask the right questions respectfully, sensitively, and at all times be responsible for that justice. We must hold them accountable. We are still following a lot of colonial practices where we do not question the judges. We do not question the prosecutor. We are very happy to question the police because they are the first face of the judicial system, the justice system. But we don't question prosecutors. Why did you not do your job properly? We don't question the judges saying, why are you taking such a long time? And we must hold our parliamentarians responsible for making budgetary allocations, filling up the vacancies, and training these functionaries.
If we go and check the unregistered cases, we can see mostly around 67% of the cases are not registered.
Correct.
How we should work on that?
So this is a very important question, because we have to check who are these people making our laws and policies. Now, recently, 2 weeks ago, there was a report by ADR that said that almost 151 parliamentarians have cases, FIRs filed against them on sexual assault, abuse, and rape on women. How did we elect these people into the parliament? How did political parties field such people to contest the elections? And these are the people who are already having cases on them, who are making laws of protection for us. They don't mean any good for us. So there is this big, large question that we want to ask. Right at the top, where people make laws for us, where people are supposed to uphold the Constitution and respect the paymaster citizen, culprits, criminals. From there, we come down to a show of power. The message that is going to everybody in the society. If you are a Brij Bhushan Singh, police will take 2-3 months to file a case. That also, if you come to the street, there also you will be manhandled. If there is such a case filed, that person will not go to jail. He won't be arrested because he is very powerful. If you and I are in that case, we will go to jail. So the messaging that is coming to everybody is this. And probably it is the same in the whole of Southeast Asia. People now in power abusing all the machinery against people who may raise their voice, questioning them. So nobody will question. All of us will keep quiet. Earlier, it was okay for us to come to the streets demanding accountability from the government. Today, in Mother of Democracies, I am given one small corner somewhere to go and protest. I cannot protest anywhere I want. I cannot protest before the Vidhana Sauda. We did that. 20 years ago, we have done it. Today, you cannot. Why? The ones I elected only are sitting inside, no? And I pay taxes for their salaries and for their perks. Now you're telling me don't ask questions. Then we come to the portrayal of women and portrayal of justice. All of what is portrayed in a fantasy of a 3 or a 2-hour film is what I am seeing in my reality. Tariq pe Tariq, judge gets transferred, my evidence gets lost. All the while, I have not got any victim and witness protection, even though there is a scheme and there is a budgetary allocation for it. I'm illiterate. I don't know which office to go to, where I must go to. Somebody must tell me. Who will tell me? It is the job of the government to tell. The government will do one training program once in 3 years. Information de diya. You were not there that day. What can I do? Continuously, I have to. For Swachh Bharat, how did my government do? Everywhere the message was there. Keep your city clean, keep your house clean, your lane clean, your train clean, your bus clean. Any any bill or receipt we got behind it, it was written Swachh Bharat. Please have Surakshit Bharat also. So it has to go in a mission mode. So we need people from all walks of life, especially our elected representatives and our lawmakers, to function in that manner. And our people to tell, if this is a criminal who is who comes to contest, I don't want to vote for this person. En masse, we say that. And of course, I continuously talk about the right to recall. The parliamentarians are not making a law for that, where we have the right as citizens, if we have voted somebody into power and they are not performing well, or they have got themselves into some criminal activities, then we as the citizens who voted the person into power must have the right to recall that person back and put the next person. Otherwise, what is it, mother of democracies?
I deeply believe that if we really want to prevent such cases in future, so we need to educate the kids who are right now growing, so who are in school, who are in colleges. I guess the sex education is very much important for them. So what are your opinions on that, and then how we should spread this information in a right way that they adapt thing, because when they're in such an age, it is very important to take care what kind of mental being they are going to be created, what kind of surrounding they have, what kind of information they are taking from the internet. So yes, overall these are my points.
Again, child development science is very clear. From the age of 3, the child can be taught all of this in the language of the child. But this education should not stop. It must continue. Why should it continue? Because every time I say 5 things of how you should be strong and good and resilient and be value based, there is information coming from somewhere else. Internet and social media 10 times differently. So that is why
Yes.
the continuous education. 1. 2, I think we need to set our values where we don't tell our children to get into cutthroat competition and compare them with others. We need to promote. So if you look at the Japanese system of education, there are no tests till about class 7. You must only learn everything that you like to learn. If you want to learn 20 things, that is available in your school. Learn music, drama, theory, science, gardening, agriculture, fishing, learn everything. 7th standard, there is a little bit of structure coming. Your science, your social studies, your civics, your English, and all of those things. Because by then, the child learns so many different things are all important. Respect for another person is first. Polite language with another person is important. Respectful interactions, important. Even though you might see all kinds of things, the good beating the bad and the bad coming back again, it is fantasy, it remains there. As a human being, I grow up also loving myself and loving my fellow beings. So this cannot change. Money, this education must continuously happen, at least as long as students and young people are there in college and educational institutions. After that, there has to be reorientation and training, because we are human beings. We keep getting caught into that net. And so it becomes important that we get reoriented with all the new things that might be coming up and challenging us. So education is most important, because that's the only way for us to prevent. But with this education of being sensitive and respectful to everybody, we must learn to fear law. That if I do something with these kind of consequences, I will be punished. Today, there is no fear of law. My father will call the MLA, MP, local thug.
Hmm.
It will get sorted. I'm not afraid. I pay some money, it will get sorted. So there is nothing at stake for me. I don't lose anything. So that is what we are missing. And that doesn't come simply with religion. It comes with a lot more than my religious tenets. All religions tell you to be a good person. All religion tell you that you will go to heaven if you do these things. But how do I translate it for you to become a better person? And that is the education that we must continuously give to our children. And it has to be parents' responsibility, teachers' responsibility, and responsibility of the industries and companies that portray whatever that they are portraying. It cannot be one person's responsibility. It's impossible for us to do, because people, by the time the child reaches 6 years, the child is interacting with at least 10 people on a given day. Different people who are not like me, and I'm not like them. So it is important that all of us take up this responsibility. There is an African saying that it takes an entire village to bring up a child. And Indian culture and history is not very different. Earlier, it was an entire neighborhood who were all worried and bothered about everybody's children. Today, we've lost that touch. We need to bring that touch back. I cannot be a science teacher who teaches science and goes away. I have to be involved with those children.